For the past 20 years, all eyes have been on the big rivalry, right? The US versus China. But while we were all watching that geopolitical drama unfold, another giant was quietly and completely transforming itself. That player is India, and its rise might just be one of the biggest and most under the radar stories of our time. And to really get this, just look at this quote from economist Yu Jin. She's someone who watched China's economic miracle happen up close, in real time. And she's seeing the same signals in India. But notice the key words here: faster, more systematic. That is a staggering claim. She's not just saying India is repeating China's success. She's saying they're doing it better, and nobody is even watching. And to really feel that speed, you just have to look at her own personal experience. It's basically a tale of two visits to the same city just under 2 decades apart, and it perfectly captures this incredible transformation. So picture this. Jin visits Mumbai back in 2008. She sees an airport that's a total mess, roads riddled with potholes, and an economy at about $1.2 trillion. It's all potential, but it's buried in chaos. Now flash forward to her visit in 2026. She lands in a gleaming, world-class airport terminal. There's a brand new metro system zipping across the city, and the economy, it's nearly quadrupled to $4.5 trillion. This isn't just growth, you guys. This is a total metamorphosis. So what on earth is fueling this incredible change? Well, it all starts with the first, and maybe the most powerful, pillar: India's demographic dividend. It's an advantage that almost no other country has. And this is where the numbers get kind of crazy. Just look at this. The median age in India is 28. 28. Now, compare that to the US at 38 or China at 39. They're getting older. India is unbelievably young. And that youth isn't just a number. It's an economic superweapon. It means you have a massive, hungry workforce and an even bigger base of new consumers. And that young population is absolutely ready to spend. By 2030, India is projected to have a middle class of 1 billion people. Just let that sink in. 1 billion consumers, all looking to buy their first smartphone, their first car, their first nice apartment. We are literally watching the largest consumer market in human history being built from the ground up. But look, it's not just about having a billion people, it's about how you connect them. And that brings us to pillar number 2, India's digital secret weapon. And in a lot of ways, it's actually leapfrogged what the US and China have built. It's this brilliant system called the India Stock. Think of it as 3 layers. First, they created Aadhaar, which gave almost every single citizen a unique biometric ID. Pretty amazing. Then, on top of that, they built UPI, a totally free instant digital payment system. And then, the final genius move, a data sovereignty law that makes sure all that Indian data stays on servers inside India. So you've got a universal ID, free payments, and total control of your own data. It's an ecosystem for innovation that nobody else on the planet has. And the scale of this thing is just hard to wrap your head around. In 2025 alone, UPI processed 100 billion transactions. To put that in perspective, that's half the volume of Visa and MasterCard combined for the entire globe. This digital backbone is making the economy insanely efficient and sparking a huge domestic tech boom. Okay, so you've got a massive young workforce and this cutting-edge digital infrastructure. What's the next logical step? You start making stuff. And that brings us to pillar 3, India's massive strategic push to become the new factory for the world. And oh man, talk about perfect timing. Right when the US-China trade war started heating up, companies all over the world were desperately looking for a China plus one strategy. And India was right there, ready with a plan and a ton of incentives. So you see giants like Apple, Samsung, and Foxconn all shifting production. And by 2025, India was already making 15% of the world's smartphones. Now they're going after the holy grail, semiconductors. And the results of this strategy? They're undeniable. Look at this. Before 2010, India was a nobody in global exports, ranked 19th. By 2025, they had rocketed up to 5th place. And their goal? To be in the top 3 by 2030. That is what happens when you decide to become the world's workshop. Okay, so that brings us to our 4th and final pillar, which is the high-stakes geopolitical chess game. And this is where India is doing something really interesting. They're not playing by the old rules of you have to pick a side. They are writing a whole new playbook with a strategy called multi-alignment. The key thing to understand here is that India just refuses to be put into a box. It's a core member of the Quad, an alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia that's pretty clearly aimed at countering China. But at the exact same time, it's a leader in BRICS with China and Russia. It buys sanctioned oil from Moscow while simultaneously buying the most advanced weapon systems from the US. It's a masterclass in playing all sides. And this right here says it all. This is the whole game. The goal isn't to pick a side between the US and China. The goal is to make yourself so important, so crucial, that every major power needs you more than you need any single one of them. It's genius.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? A straight shot to the top. But it's not that simple. Nothing ever is. You have to look at the other side of the coin and ask the really tough question. What could actually stop this? What could derail this whole story?
And that really is the trillion-dollar question, isn't it? Is this whole thing inevitable? I mean, history is full of countries that had all the potential in the world and just blew it. India itself kind of stagnated for decades after the 60s, so could that happen again? Well, the risks are absolutely real, and they are huge. Take infrastructure. Yeah, the airports are getting better, but the country's ports and roads are creaking under the strain of this new economy. That creates massive bottlenecks. And while all this new wealth is being created, inequality is also rising, which could lead to social unrest. You throw in gaps in education, looming environmental disasters, and the risk of one big geopolitical misstep, and this whole incredible momentum could grind to a halt. So when you put it all together, you really end up with two completely different roads India could go down by 2035. There's the success story, a $15 trillion economy, the world's go-to manufacturing hub, the global swing superpower. And then there's the other path. Growth stalls out, the factories move somewhere else, and India becomes another tragic story of squandered potential. Again. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that India is standing at a truly historic crossroads. The choices that its leaders and its people make over the next 10 years, they're not just going to shape the next decade. They're going to define India's entire century. And in doing that, they're going to reshape the world for all of us. The only question left is which future will it be?